This is a public bus that was destroyed on the road the other night in Holon, just a little bit south of Tel Aviv. That's where I am now, south of Tel Aviv in Bat Yam. And that's one of the bus routes that I normally ride. Yesterday morning, I got into a clothing store, picked up 2 pairs of shorts for the summer, and the guy working in the shop lives right next to this place in Cologne. It was terrifying. Hamas, the ruling Palestinian party in Gaza, fired more rockets in a shorter amount of time than what they fired in an entire day of war back in 2014. The point of that is to try to overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome system, where they use artificial intelligence, guided missiles to defend the civilian population that the Palestinians, the Arabs, are trying to target the civilian population here in Israel. So these guided missiles from Israel fly up into the air and detonate the attacking missiles in the air. But Hamas has been trying to overwhelm the system by firing more at one time. So firing more than, in a few minutes, as many as they used to fire in an entire day in the war in 2014. Meanwhile, in mixed Arab-Israeli cities, mixed with Jewish-Israeli, the Arabs have been rioting, burning stuff, attacking homes, attempted lynchings. And this same guy working in the clothing store, he and about 80 of his buddies took matters into their own hands and piled into cars and went to the city of Lod to fight against the Arab rioters in the streets there. He and his buddies just didn't think that the police was doing enough. The government now is trying to get the cabinet to approve bringing the Israeli military into these cities to stop the Arab riots. So I need to take a moment and explain there is some difference. First of all, the Arab world is quite big, and the Muslim world is even bigger. You've got gigantic countries like Egypt that are Arab Muslim, the entire, Syria, Jordan, Libya, Lebanon. These are just some of the countries that surround Israel on all sides. And you've got the Palestinian Authority, which was basically created by the 1994 Oslo Accords as a government entity to rule over Arabs that basically didn't want to be ruled over by the Israeli Jewish government. So cities like Bethlehem and Jericho and Gaza were turned over. Gaza wasn't exactly the same, but it was also turned over to the Palestinian Authority. Jericho and Bethlehem previously had been ruled by the Israeli Jewish government, and they were turned over to the Palestinian Authority, so an Arab government, but it's within sovereign Israel. So that's been continuing since 1994. Then you've got cities like Haifa, Lod, Akko, Jerusalem, where Israeli Arab people are living. Actually, it's a little complicated. most of the Arabs in Jerusalem were offered citizenship in the 40s, but they refused. So I think they got residency instead of citizenship. So most of the time, there's a decent amount of peace between Israeli Arabs and Jewish Arabs. But when the rockets started falling in Jewish, Israeli, or in let's just say Israeli civilian populations, wouldn't you know, the Israeli Arabs started rioting against Israeli Jews in the mixed Israeli Arab Jewish cities. So there's been fire in the skies, hailing down upon the ground, and there's been riotings, burnings, lynchings, attempted lynchings going on in the streets. So since the cat is basically falling asleep anyway, so let's change the scenery here. And let me take you on a little walk here to show you around. The construction zone is continuing to work around here. A lot of the restaurants and businesses actually were open yesterday. I walked around a lot, and but a lot of places were empty, even though they were open. The beach area was pretty much empty. I went to the gym, it was pretty much empty. It was absolutely empty. Well, towards the end of my workout, I saw one person come in. People have been hiding out. For the most part yesterday, in this area of Tel Aviv, there were not any sirens and missiles falling here. So they were falling the night before at around 9 p.m. and again at 3 a.m. That's when I posted the video, no sleep. And I'm going to show you the bomb shelter right now. And this is, I'm house sitting and cat sitting for my friends in Bat Yam. I've been, watching over the place while they're traveling. And it's quite close to the beach. I remember in 2014 that some missiles were heading towards the beaches, and it was very difficult for people to find bomb shelters in the beach area. So I can understand why yesterday the beach area was pretty much empty, because it's hard to be safe in such an open area. And even if Iron Dome is shooting down the missiles in the sky, there's still a lot of shrapnel that falls, a lot of pieces that fall from those missiles. And what we've been seeing happening lately is that some of the missiles from Gaza have been getting through. So let me take and show you here the bomb shelter. And this is one of the fortunate apartments that has a bomb shelter in the apartment. A lot of Israelis live in apartment buildings where they would have to go outside the apartment, run to the stairway, and get around the corner, get down the stairway, and get down 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 flights of stairs to get to a bomb shelter. And people have been saying that with these missiles hitting lately, there was not time. Some people have passed away from heart attacks while running for the bomb shelter. This apartment, and thank Elohim, my apartment in Samaria does have a bomb shelter in the apartment. So let's take a look. Heavy metal door to get in, and it's got deadbolts, big deadbolts. This is pretty heavy for an interior door. Here's the regular day-to-day wooden door, no protection there. It's just a sound block. And here is the bomb shelter. This one is basically set up as a bedroom, but it's It's got heavy duty concrete and some air filtration kind of thing going on there, a fire protection, some kind of air thing. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's to allow fresh air in from the outside so that you can open that if you've been locked in here for a long time. I guess maybe that would be the inlet for air, and then maybe that would be the outlet, so you'd have to open those up. The weak point in this room is the glass window. And the problem is the night that the rockets were falling, this was stuck, and I couldn't get this moving. And so yesterday morning I got a building manager to come up here and help out. And so now this heavy metal plate is able to slide right across, and then you can kind of make sure that it stays in position with this little latch right there. So the problem was that it was stuck and it needed some oil both in here and up here, and some wrenching with a decent hammer to get it going again. So when the rockets were falling, I was in here and I filmed a video or two from inside here, but the protection wasn't really complete at the time because I didn't have this set free yet. I didn't have this. And by the way, if you're in a rocket attack, leave the windows open, because if there's a rocket that lands anywhere out there, it doesn't even have to hit the building. There's going to be a lot of air pressure, and you don't want the windows all closed, because then there's a good chance that the glass is going to break. And the way the glass is going to fly, it's going to fly inward, and it might injure people that are inside the place. So you don't want blasting glass flashing into the house. So last night I slept in here with this completely shut, and just in case any high pressure air can get around the corners and blast the glass, I left the glass open. So that's the deal. For airflow, I didn't open up the other stuff last night. I didn't close this all the way, but I left it kind of like that. And so that all that I would have to do if I heard the sirens is just jump out of bed and walk 2 steps over to here and look for the cat, find where the cat is, grab the cat, bring the cat in here, and then shut that. That would be doable, because from what they normally say for the Tel Aviv area, when the sirens start, I think you have 90 seconds to take cover. There are places in Israel where you have a lot less time than that. I think Tel Aviv is about 60 seconds. I misspoke a second ago. I think where I normally live in Samaria, which is not normally a target for missiles because it's such a low population, but there I think it's 90 seconds. That's why I misspoke, because Tel Aviv is a lot closer to Gaza than the center of the country where I live, which is southern Samaria. It's pretty much in the center, north to south, east to west. That's where I stay, and when I'm there lately, I'm taking the cat with me there to house sit there. But this week I felt the Father leading me to come to Bat Yam and spend a week here, seeking the Lord. I've had an excellent conversation with that guy in the store, other people that I've been sharing with, and if you get my updates on Signal or in email, then you're getting more details about those things. So just wanted to upload this quick little video. It's turned out to be a little bit longer than I had hoped. But I want to ask, I'm over here. I'm living in an extreme situation. This is turned into a war zone, and it from time to time turns into a war zone again and again and again. The controversy isn't handled completely until Messiah comes back in the future. And meanwhile, the controversy just continues, and you can't look for and expect any solution. You can't expect political solutions for spiritual problems. So the political solutions and you got one state, two state, three state solutions, and all these kind of propositions and arguments going on about that. Political solutions, just keep that in mind in whatever country you're in. Don't expect and don't put a lot of great hope in political solutions when you're dealing with spiritual problems. So why am I serving the Lord here in such a troubled area when I could be in much easier places to be? And when there's such personal danger, when there's such sorrow and difficult things. The Father's called me to be here. I'm serving Him, and there's great danger, and there's great limitations on what goes on here, the limitations of movement and things like that. And then on top of all that, I'm getting by and managing to survive far below the standard poverty level, according to the Israeli economy. I'm around $1,500 per month below the standard Israeli median wage, the median wage. That's really, really, really difficult on top of all these other difficulties. So if you've been only donating to the work that I do here and supporting once in a while or occasionally, or haven't donated at all, then consider jumping on board and consider, if you're not going to come to a place like this and serve the kingdom, then the next best thing is to support someone who's actually doing the work and really putting in the work. And if you've thought about it and haven't done it before, now's the time to do it. If you've done it only occasionally before, think about doing it and coming and helping financially on a monthly basis, so that I have a budget and I'm able to actually plan and figure out how to keep going and how to take care of the bills and everything. Because every strong spirit-filled believer that you have in a place like this or anywhere around the world is carrying the Messiah's light and life and love everywhere I go. As I'm around spending His money in the shops to buy some food to survive, buy some clothing, all this, sharing His love everywhere, I am an ambassador and an emissary of Shalom and His peace. So that is what you are helping to increase His light in a very troubled land. And it's time to continue to harvest and plant seeds and sow and water and to do all this work while it is still light and before Yeshua comes back. Now is the time to do that. And there's a great heavenly reward, perhaps an earthly reward as well in this time, but for sure, guaranteed, there's a great heavenly reward in participating in this. So go and check out jtod.org. And if you're already on the email, continue to read those and the other things, the other updates. And if you're not getting contact, send me a message through this video or through the other channels that you already have to let me know. And jtod.org, JerusalemTabernacleOfDavid.org is the place to sign up. Thanks for your support and your prayers. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.